Now I will invite our second keynote speaker, Dr. Viranchi Shah. Dr. Shah is an entrepreneur, pharmacist, and industry leader. He is a promoter of Saga Life Sciences Limited and other companies of Saga Group. Saga is a reputed, fast-growing pharma group focused on manufacturing of high-quality, affordable medicines. He is also the national president of IDMA, Indian Drugs Manufacturers Association, the world's largest association of pharma manufacturers. Um, Participated in policy making for the Indian pharma on behalf of the industry. Uh, he is also on COA of PharmaExcel, which catalyzes pharma exports from India. He has been a keynote speaker at over 100 national events and won over 20 national awards of recognitions like GP Nair Award, B.V. Patel Gold Medal, Basilal Hargovind Das Gold Medal, Pharma Ratan 2018. So I welcome Dr. Shah and hope that everyone will be highly enlightened by your speech. Please.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me here. Respected Dr. Koshia, friends from the IIT Gandhinagar. We also met some friends from the industry who are exhibiting here. Today I've been told to focus on catalyzing the healthcare, Indian healthcare, through focus on innovation, especially keeping in mind the MSMEs and the startups. Friends, this Viksit Bharat Abhiyan is actually a very important development that has been happening at the central level. And I have been fortunate to be a part of a committee which is called India at 2047. And I have been a part of committee that touches upon the important developments in the pharmaceutical industry. Just to give you some numbers, the current industry size is approximately $50 billion, equally split between the domestic industry and international business that we have. Our biggest customers outside India are US, second biggest is the Europe, third being Africa. To say that the industry caters to essential medicines across the globe. As a part of this envisioning exercise, we all feel that this industry has the capability to touch $500 billion by 2047, approximately $120 billion by 2030. It is the kind of growth that is possible. And what we are trying to see is how we can achieve this growth. And as our Honorable Prime Minister says, this has to be an inclusive growth. So we want the MSMEs to be a part of it. We also want the large corporates to be a part of it. We want the academic institutes. And in fact, one of the goals of this committee or the kind of white paper that this committee is working on has been that if we want to achieve 500 billion by 2047, at least one of our IITs has to reach top 10 in the world in the next 25 years. Because industry alone will be capable to drive this growth forward. And the IITs or any other academic institutes of great repute will have to play that important role to support this growth. And that is why IITs are so important for all of us. In pharma space, NIPERs again, I would say in a way equivalent to IITs for engineering, we have NIPERs who are also doing very good work. When we talk of SMEs, we all know SMEs play a very important role in globally, not only in India. And in terms of their numbers, they are quite large. In India, an estimate is there are some 8,000 pharmaceutical companies across India. The first 100 capture, or I would say the first 100 contribute to 80% of the volumes. And the rest, which are mostly the SMEs, they contribute to the 20% of the balance volume. One of the important ways of empowering the startups and MSCs is, of course, innovation. And I think that is why we are here today. And I'll give you two examples. One, of course, Dr. Koshia touched upon was the case of Dynapar, a case of Troika, where a simple thought process of why a painkiller injection should be painful on the first place led to a very innovative product. There was a case of another company based in Gujarat who were the first to formulate effervescent granules. We all know a very important brand called Eno, if you know. And today you must be seeing Eno available in various flavors which are more acceptable to the patients. In fact, for the first time in the world, it was done by a one small company in Gujarat. It is from there that this thing has gained such a big proportion globally. So, small ideas but very powerful ideas are definitely possible for SMEs and startups. The biggest problem in India, as I understand, is that we all work in silos. If you see successful ecosystems globally, for example, if you look at an ecosystem that is existing around Boston or the one around California, one of the most important element of those ecosystems that supports innovation is availability of all the players that play important role in innovation. So if you put a corollary, any new concept or any innovation is more like an embryo. It's a single cell embryo or a two cell embryo, the first zygote. And how does it transform itself into a human being? And I think that's this similar journey that we have for innovation. And as we all know, it requires a placenta for an embryo, for a zygote to convert into a human being. And a placenta that consistently nourishes the embryo. I think that is the first thing that we need to strengthen within India. And this embryo needs a lot of things to grow. So we need, of course, very strong academic institutes who are focused on helping their students understand the industry gaps and work to find out some useful solutions. You need an industry who is ready to talk actively to the academic institutes. You need the venture capitalists or financial institutes that are ready to support. You need the technology, people who can work on developing technologies or cross-functional teams that can help these innovators adopt technologies from various domains. You need people who are ready to take this product to the market. So I think it needs a very active ecosystem for innovation to grow. And that is in fact one of the things that the central government is also working right now. You must have heard of a scheme that was very recently announced by the Honorable Health Minister Mansukh Bhai, which is called the PRIP, Promotion of Research in Pharmaceutical and MedTech sector. And that's an overall layout of almost 5,000 crores, where they are going to handhold 125 new ideas, especially from the MSMEs and startups, where you can come to the level of giving a proof of concept, and later on there would be tier 2 and tier 3, where there will be companies who are ready to invest into developing that concept, and a set of industries that are ready to invest into global clinical trials and patenting and taking it to the market. So the government has already started doing their bit. As far as the industry is concerned, we understand the current, and when we look of the global opportunities, as I said, that we are planning to reach from 50 to 500 in the next 25 years. And we all understand that if we have to play that role as an industry, we will definitely need value-added products and value-added services. And that is where innovation will play a very important role. Now, some of the very simple things that we all can do. There are India-specific diseases that we have. There are India-specific resources that we have. And there are India-specific solutions that we can come out with. I'm giving you some examples. India is the largest legal producer of opium in the world. So, any opium derivative you see anywhere in the world, they have to source opium from India because India is the largest legal opium producer in the world. And it has been so for several decades. But for whatever reason, not a single academic institute or industry has tried to see what best we can do with our opium. Can we come out with some technologies that can increase our yield? Can we come out with some technologies where we can identify certain active ingredients that may not be habit forming? A lot can be looked into it. We are also the world's largest producer of psyllium, isabgol. And it took an American company to identify this and take it to the world. So, in the same way, we are also one of the prominent producers of amla, a very rich source of vitamin C. Most of the projects I see, at least on the M-Pharm levels, are identifying the content of vitamin C in amla, and that is where our research ends. There are Indian-specific diseases, for example, chikungunya. We rarely find chikungunya outside India, or at least in the South Asian continent. We have a large population of people suffering from tuberculosis. So, let me tell you, the developed world, the people who are doing research in the developed world may not be interested. At least that is our experience. They are not interested in investing their resources to delve into this kind of diseases. We have a large population which is vegetarian, where you can very commonly see deficiency of vitamin B12 and D3. And that's a major proportion of. In fact, in diabetes, there was a very recent survey. For every one patient who is diagnosed or is under treatment for diabetes, the Indian population has another person who is either not diagnosed or is diagnosed but is not under treatment. So, this is a kind of massive problem we have with diabetes. There are a lot of areas where a lot of things can be done. And I think if we have to reach this magic figure, and this figure is not in terms of numbers, it's also about our reach. Currently, we supply essential medicines to the entire world, but post-pandemic, most of the economies now want a part of the supply chain localized within their countries. So, maybe going 10 years, 15 years down the line, though India currently produces almost 20% of the volumes of medicines across the globe, it is possible that some of it may get localized. At least some of the countries will develop that bandwidth in next 10, 15 years. And many of it is to go. We have to therefore come with newer technologies, newer products, newer solutions. And the strength of India always has been the affordable healthcare. If you compare what India has been able to do, again just for the sake of some statistics, our healthy life expectancy is around 70 years. And our annual spend on healthcare is about $60 per person. If you compare this with the BRICS countries, for example, Brazil spends about $960 to achieve the same level of life expectancy. Russia spends over $1,000. I think it's about $1,152, around $1,150 that they spend. Their expectancy is around 72 or 73 years. US spends some in excess of $17,000. Of course, they are about 76 or 78. So India's strength has always been the affordability, and it has been doing it for several decades. So how can IITs, academic institutes, industry, the regulators, policymakers, market players, people, venture capitalists, can we all sit together and do something to take this big opportunity that we have at hand? I think that is what is going to decide our future and our path for success for the Viksit Bharat Abhiyan. At IDMA, we have an industry academia cell, and I would be very happy if anybody from here wants to collaborate with IDMA and have a very active interaction with the industry. But the sense that prevails today is the future is for the people who are ready to handhold each other and work for a greater good for all. I compliment IIT Gandhinagar for this wonderful deliberation. Along with Dr. Koshia, I had the opportunity to visit some of the stalls where wonderful work has been done by several IITs. My best wishes to all of you here and for all the IITs for doing wonderful work in the future. As an Indian industry, we are always available for whatever support and hand holding and interaction you want from us. Once again, thank you for having me here.
I feel honored that now we have just Director IIT Gandhinagar, Professor Rajat Moona with us. So welcome, sir, in this session, and not taking much time because I know you are very busy since morning, and despite of that, you have taken out time. We are very thankful to you, and I'll request you to kindly address the gathering with your vision and ideas.
Thank you, Vipinji, Sujata all the members of CRTDH from various institutions and CSIR labs, uh, and everybody who is present here from industry. It's a proud privilege to be here today. I really wanted to come in the morning, but could not come because there is yet another major event that was happening here, which was interministerial joint group between India and Australia. And I first thought that I might be able to come at 9:30, but even that was not a possibility. So eventually I could not come. But to tell you frankly, I think this particular event being organized here was decided long time back, sometime in March. Okay, Sujata ji was here, and at that point in time we discussed, and at that time we decided that we'll do it sometime in November between Dussehra and Diwali, so that everybody would be available. In spite of that, I really felt guilty that I could not take part. I really wanted to be here. But I also learned that DG CSIR, who was supposed to be coming here, could not come because she is down under the weather. And Delhi being Delhi, with the pollution AQI levels being 420, 415 and above, I think these kind of problems are likely to happen, and they are probably going to be there all over the country. If not now, maybe soon. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to understand this. As an industry, as an educational institute, we can take lead in variety of things. Our Prime Minister recently said that India is going to be the third largest economy of the world in few years' time from now, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. But it's going to be third largest economy of the world. And third largest economy of the world is not a matter of word. If you actually translate that to our terms, it requires almost like doubling our economy. Not doubling, but close to that. And that's a huge effort that one needs to put in. And everybody has to go together, whether it is labs, academics, or industry. And I think we'll have to shed our traditional wisdom of doing business. Traditional wisdom of doing business was somehow, put together something and sell it, right, as a solution. One day, it's a long time back, I was given a book. Many of you probably would have read this or heard about this book called Jugaad, the Indian Revolution, right? And I had this book with me. I was returning from somewhere. This book was there with me, and I was to meet our famous scientist, Dr. Mashalkar. He had been the Director General of CSIR. And I went to his office, and I was carrying this book. So he asked me, Rajat, where did you carry this book? So I just told him this. He said, he has no regard for Jugaad. I said, but why? He said, there is a difference between Jugaad and frugal invention. Okay? Jugaad is all about surpassing all the essential things of safety, security, and all that. You do a Jugaad, you create a cycle tire or car tube, fill up with the air. It would be perfectly okay, but when you're driving, suddenly it becomes hot and all that. Right on the highway or right on the road, suddenly it bursts open because that rubber is not able to withstand the pressure. Okay? Or the rubber is not a good quality. So it's a Jugaad. It's a cheaper thing. somehow somebody did it. To start with, puncture itself is a jugaad, puncture repair. You got a hole, you kind of file it up, put a glue, put a paste. This itself is a jugaad. But that's where the vulnerabilities come from. And I think he was so right. When Dr. Mashalka told me that, I was reading this book, and the thing that was I enjoying at that point, I'm saying this can be done, that can be done, a variety of different products which are described in this. It is actually written by one of my very good friend. So when I was reading this, suddenly I said, yeah, when I started looking at from a different lens, things are very different. So basically what I'm trying to say is the safety, security, the reliability, all these are very, very important quality parameters. In this country, we actually don't spend much focus on quality. My grandfather used to tell me, it was maybe 6 decades or 7 decades back, he used to tell me that Japanese toys and Japanese items which were actually available in the country were hated. Nobody would go and buy Japanese stuff because it was very bad in quality, nothing will work, or if it works, it will fail and all that. And at that time, German quality was considered to be very good. So somebody having a German toy, we were kids, so somebody having a German toy versus somebody having a Japanese toy, and you will say, oh, this German guy is much richer because he has a much better looking toy, much more functional and all that. And Japanese toy, if you actually slide it on the road or slide it on the floor, after some time it will actually go bad. Is that the story today? The answer is no. Japan has worked enormously on the quality of their life, quality of their system, quality of their products, quality of the way they serve. I mean, now those who have gone to Japan would actually see their trains will stop on the markers, which will be only plus minus 1 centimeter this way or that way. And if the train is 20 seconds late, the announcer will be apologizing, saying it is late by 20 seconds. Not 20 minutes, not 20 hours. I mean, in India, when trains go late by 20 hours, we have a solution saying cancel the train. So now it becomes 4 hours ahead of time. But that's not the way they actually work. So essentially, converting a bad quality to a good quality, the Japan story is a very, very interesting story. You look at Taiwan, you look at Germany. I mean, I think they had always been the hallmark of quality. You look at today, China, right? And what is the picture that comes? Well, picture has actually started changing. But let's say 10 years back, the picture that would come is that Japanese system work very well, but Chinese system don't work. Okay? China products are actually considered to be low in quality. And I think China has consciously working towards improvement of quality. Today, many of these products that we are getting are Chinese product manufactured in China, very high in quality. In India, we still have to recognize that, realize that. So, having said that, why am I saying so? All our MSME, all our small industry have a potential to become big. Intel started with a very small company. HP started from garage. Microsoft started with a very small company, right? And in time, only because of the quality, they actually went up and up and up. There was a time when people would say, you take a HP calculator, drop it from the 3rd floor of building height, okay, come down, turn it on, it will still be working, right? Take a HP oscilloscope, okay, in the lab, put it, people keep dropping on the table, they will still be working. They were rugged, they were quality product, they were very, very calibered, and I think these are the kind of things that have resulted in quality. It's not that in India we don't have quality products. It is not that in India we cannot make quality products. We have been successful in many places. We have been successful in doing several things. I think consciously if we put attention to this, things will be much, much better. Just to give you an example, I think paint industry and dye industry is, in this part of the world, is a very big industry. Okay? And I'll give you yet another industry later. The amount of paint and amount of dye which you actually put in your clothes and in your houses, in the walls and other things, large portion of it comes from Gujarat. And yet you will hear these kind of complaints. You have a fabric with a dye on it, but you can't wash it. Don't wash it. You throw it after wearing. Well, if you are slightly better, maybe you can wash it, but wash it separately. And 2 or 3 washes later, this cloth is not even recognizable. Right? I mean, it is no longer gives you the same fresh look. Why is that? Is this the problem of the cloth? Or is this the problem of the detergent? Or is this the problem of the way you wash? Or is the problem of the dye? Right? I think none of these things have been standardized. Okay? And that's where we have a great challenge. I think in engineering education, we are always taught few things. One is the characterization and the second one is calibration. Characterize how your input and outputs are related. What kind of curves, what kind of transfer functions give me output versus input. And calibration, to say that it is repeatable. So you don't have to calibrate each item separately, produce in bulk, and you know the constants that are going to define these equations are going to be identical. Okay? Today, for example, you look at the mobile phones, okay, and I'm talking about this mobile phone as a very interesting example. It's an electronic product. Everybody knows mobile phone, large number of mobile phones are actually manufactured in India. If you have bought a mobile phone in India, with 99% probability it would have come from Indian manufacturing unit. So, what is the situation here? When you look at the battery, right, battery shows 1 level, 3 level, 2 level, or maybe sometime numerical values 10%, 20%, 30% remaining. If 100% battery lasts for 24 hours, natural thing would be 10% of the battery should last for 2.4 hours. But if your mobile has a 10% battery, in 30 minutes, the mobile will switch off. So why is that happening? Again, it's a problem of a calibration, because what we are talking of as a percentage is not what human being needs to understand. What they need to understand is what is the life left in units of time. Is it a difficult thing? The answer is no. It is a very simple thing to actually implement. If mobile phone can say 10 minutes battery left rather than saying 5% of the battery left, it has a much better meaning than 5% battery left. So these are the quality parameters once again. These are the user interface parameters. And if we actually work on these, they will be very, very interesting. So CSIR or DSIR having this scheme of supporting MSME through instruments for calibrating, for characterizing variety of products that MSME does, whether it's a material characterization, whether it's a chemical characterization, whether it is a process characterization, and even calibration. I think tools exist. They exist in the academic institutes. They exist in many CSIR labs. All we need is a desire from industry to go and use them. Because a good quality industry, a Microsoft, Intel and HP, they all start very small, but they become very big because they invest into quality and people appreciate quality, not just in this country, but all over the world. Market is one thing. You may or may not get the market, but if we don't even attempt a market, we will not get the market. Right? It's as simple a thing as that. All our things that we actually look at, we actually suffer from these kind of quality parameters. Diwali is coming, candles would be sold. right? Very simple thing on candle, water moisture content in the wax. We don't characterize. We don't sell candles by saying this has a 10% moisture, this has 40% moisture, this has 5% moisture. No, we don't. We don't sell the candles by saying is value of so-called fuel parameter, fuel value is this much, right? We don't even tell anybody, right? Diya, the mitti ka diya, right? This will be made, okay? Again, the same problem. We don't actually have any quality parameter. These are handmade. Yes, handmade is good thing, but it doesn't mean that they cannot be replicated. They can be. As a result, what happens is we start getting these Chinese product, the Chinese diya and the Chinese statues and the Chinese things in Diwali, which actually look good. Are they good in quality? We don't know, but they definitely look good. They definitely look better. And a major part of our economy is not available to Indian manufacturers, to Indian MSME. Every time we do this, we suddenly realize we are leaving a big chunk of business. We are driving away a big chunk of our business from Indian industry. Indian industry has all the capabilities, all the know-how, all the methods to be the world leader. We just have to rise up, use the facilities so that we can provide a quality characterization and a quality product. Only world will see you differently. So with this, once again, I welcome everybody to this campus. I hope you will enjoy the campus, the natural beauty of the campus, and you will have very good, fruitful interaction across all institutions and industry. If out of this, we get 5 to 7, nice collaborations of improving the quality or improving the products and all that, it will be a worthwhile exercise. So thank you very much and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for triggering and stimulating the minds. I think you have very specifically pointed out that quality is something which we have to look into, and that is what you cited. You started with a simple example that how Jugaad is slightly different from frugal innovation, and where you talked about quality parameters like safety, security, reliability, and for sure when we talk about MSMEs, these things are somehow missing, or maybe sometimes we don't think much about that, but these are the real points which ultimately will lead India to become a third largest economy in the world, because you also cited very in simple manner that how Japan, there was a time when Japanese products were considered to be below standard or something. I don't remember because probably this is long back. But I still remember when I was very small kid, people used to say कि Japani number आए हैं क्या? Now I can correlate that this might have been something related to the quality or something. Then China, we have seen that how, and now how these two countries are trying to cope up with all these problems and trying to be good in quality. I think this may be a lesson for us also. If we have to be third largest economy in the world, we'll have to focus on quality. So I think you have also cited many examples. Everybody will learn a lot from that, and definitely our CRTDH PIs, they are very smart. Definitely they'll take all these examples in their mind. Now I would request Dr. Sujata Chakalnovis, head CRTDH, to kindly come, and we have actually published 2 reports. So those also we would like to, ma'am, if you want to say something.
Good afternoon to all. It's really a matter of great pleasure that, in spite of being so busy, Professor Rajat Muna, Director IIT Gandhinagar, made it a point to come here. Yesterday evening, when I met him, he was busy with so many meetings with the education minister and other dignitaries, and he told that today also he will be completely occupied with so many meetings and so many discussions. But in spite of that, he made it a point to come and address us. We are really very thankful to you. And so we have published two reports. One is about, because we are completing 10 years of CRTDH scheme, so we thought it's the right time to reflect back and document the entire journey of CRTDH, what has happened during the last 10 years. Because it's good to celebrate what we have achieved, but it's even better to see where we have failed, because from there we can pick up the clues and fix up the nuts and bolts to go forward and do things in a much better way. So we have tried to do all those things in this book, in this report. And there's another report which has summarized the proceedings of 5 Chintan Shivers, what we organized during July to October. During the last conclave in November 2022, our Secretary DSIR and DGCSR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, she put forward a very innovative idea, saying that if we have some sort of a meeting in all the CRTDH separately and try to find out what exactly are the requirements of the clusters for which each CRTDH is contributing to, and that would be putting focus, putting the scheme and the activities of CRTDH into more focus. So we tried to do that. It's difficult to have it within few months in all the 18. So we thought we'll go in phases, and in the first phase we had 5 such Chintan Shivers. We have documented that also, so we would like to present it to you. I think you will enjoy reading it.